Today, let us dive into one of the most unique and thought-provoking works in world literature, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This story, written in 1915, is short in length but incredibly deep in meaning, exploring isolation, family duty, human identity, and the struggle to find value in a world that can feel cold and unforgiving. Let me walk you through the novel as if I'm retelling the journey step by step. The story begins suddenly, without warning or background. We meet the protagonist, Gregor Samsa, who wakes up one morning in his small apartment, only to realize that he has been transformed into a gigantic, insect-like creature. Imagine opening your eyes and seeing your body completely alien to you, unable to move or communicate the way you once did. Kafka doesn't even bother to explain why or how this happened. Instead, he forces us to focus on what this transformation means for Gregor, for his family, and for the human condition. Gregor's first thoughts are not even about the horror of his situation, but about his job. He works as a traveling salesman, supporting his parents and sister, Greet, because they are financially dependent on him. His immediate worry is that he is late for work, that his boss will be angry, and that he may lose his position. Even in this terrifying state, he still thinks like a worker enslaved to duty and pressure. This reflects one of Kafka's strongest themes, the crushing weight of responsibility and the dehumanizing effect of labor and modern life. As Gregor struggles in his new form, unable to get out of bed or control his legs, his family begins to panic. His mother is horrified. His father reacts with anger and greets his sister, tries to show him some kindness. When the office manager comes to the apartment demanding to know why Gregor is late, Gregor tries to speak, but all that comes out is unintelligible noise. His voice is lost, his humanity stripped away. His father drives him back into his room violently, injuring him in the process. This marks the beginning of Gregor's slow decline, not just physically, but emotionally. As he becomes more and more isolated from the family he once worked so hard to protect. At first, Greet takes some responsibility for him. She brings him food, at first offering milk and bread, but when she realizes Gregor no longer eats human food, she begins giving him scraps, leftovers, and rotting items that he actually prefers. She also cleans his room for him, though even she becomes repulsed over time. There's a tragic irony in this. Gregor, who once was the provider, is now reduced to hiding under the sofa, ashamed of his body, dependent on the scraps his family gives him. As weeks pass, the family's attitude shifts. They begin to see Gregor less as a family member and more as a burden, a problem to hide away. His father, who had long been unemployed, takes on work again. His mother sews lingerie to sell, and Greet finds a job as a sales assistant. With Gregor's earning power gone, they begin to resent him for not only being useless, but also for making their lives harder. Gregor's room becomes darker and dirtier. His world shrinks. His sense of self fades as his family avoids him, and the once loving connection with his sister begins to disappear. There's a particularly painful scene when Greet and his mother decide to remove most of the furniture from his room, thinking it will give him more space to crawl around. Gregor resists because he doesn't want to lose the last remnants of his human life, like the picture frame he has on the wall. This struggle shows the conflict between holding on to his humanity and being forced into his insect-like existence. Later, when the family takes in 3 lodgers to earn extra money, Gregor becomes even more of a hidden shame. The tenants demand order and cleanliness, and when they eventually discover Gregor, they are horrified and move out. This incident pushes Greet to make a final decision. She tells her parents that they cannot go on living like this, that this creature in Gregor's room is no longer her brother. Her words seal Gregor's fate. That night, weak, injured, and rejected, Gregor crawls back into his dark room. He reflects quietly, filled with guilt and sadness for being such a burden. He longs for peace. Eventually, he lays down, and in the early morning, he dies alone. His death is described without drama, almost calmly, as though it was the only way for both him and his family to be free. The next morning, when the maid finds his body, she casually announces it. The family's reaction is not grief, but relief. They take a day off work, go for a walk in the park, and begin discussing a brighter future. They talk about moving to a smaller apartment and planning Greet's future marriage. Life goes on as if Gregor never existed. And that's the haunting brilliance of Kafka's story. Gregor, who sacrificed everything for his family, becomes disposable the moment he can no longer provide. His transformation into an insect is a metaphor for how society and even family can strip away our humanity. When we fail to meet expectations, the book makes us question the value of life, the cruelty of isolation, and the tragedy of being unloved for who we are rather than for what we provide. So, what do we take away from this story? Is it about family duty? About the modern worker trapped in an uncaring system? Or is it about existential loneliness? That's the beauty of Kafka. The story means different things to different readers. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you enjoy this summary of the Metamorphosis? What stood out to you the most: Gregor's devotion, his family's cruelty, or the bigger symbolic meaning? What lessons do you think modern readers can take from this story? And don't forget you liked this summary. Subscribe to Fast Book Pod for more detailed breakdowns of classic and modern literature. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for the next book we'll be diving into.